So I am sharing my presentation slides. So in the last class, we already discussed the top-down parsers. So we already discussed that the top-down parsers is based on leftmost derivative, and the example by using the grammar we already scan the input derivation, which is based on the top-down parsing. And basically we classify it, the top-down parsers, in two forms. First is the backtracking and another is the non-backtracking form. So basically we discussed the backtracking form in our last class. So this diagram is very important because the top-down parser is basically divided into two major categories. First is backtracking parsers and another is non-backtracking parsers. Now the non-backtracking parsers are further divided into predictive parsers and the LL parsers. So in today's class, we are going to discuss the predictive parsers and then the LL parsers. But just I am refreshing the last class because both the classes are interconnected. So this is the flow chart of the top down parser. That in the top down parser we first remove the left recursion and the left and then the left and then the common prefixes. We need to eliminate that. After that we get the recursive descent parsing, and if we remove the backtracking then we get the predictive parsers. Then the predictive parsers are basically use tables and remove recursion as well. So from the predictive parsers we get the non-recursive predictive parsers, so that we are going to discuss today. So we already discussed the recursive descent parsing, backtracking parsing. So those students who were not attend the last class, please go through the notes after today's class. So brute force technique we already discussed in the last class. So let's start with today's class. So I am sharing the today's class slides. Just wait for a minute. Now today's topic is predictive parsers or LL parsers. They are also known as the non-backtracking form of top-down parsers. So now the predictive parsers. So basically the predictive parsers, all of you see these slides clearly? Just write in the chat box. Okay. So let's start today's class. Now the topic is predictive parsers. So basically the predictive parser is a form of recursive descent parsers, as we discussed with the diagram, which has the capability to predict which production is to be used to replace the input string. So this is its characteristics. The predictive parser does not suffer from backtracking because it is a form of non-backtracking form of top-down parsers. So to accomplish its task, the predictive parser uses a look ahead pointer which points to the next input symbol. So here look ahead pointer is important. So to make the parser backtracking free, the predictive parsers put some constraint on the grammar and accept only a class of grammars known as LLK grammars. So basically, there are some restrictions or constraint in the grammar in order to make it suitable for predictive parser, which is also known as the LLK grammar. So moving to the next slide. So this is the parsing table. Basically, the predictive parsing uses, here you can see in the diagram, a parsing table is there, a parser is there, then stack is there, input tape is there, and then the output. From that we can get the output. So predictive parsing uses a stack and a parsing table to parse the input and generate a parse tree. So basically the output is the parse tree. Here you get the parse tree as the output. But in order to generate the parse tree, you need to have the stack symbol, the input tape, and the parsing table as well. So both the stack and the input contains an AND symbol dollar. Here you can see in the stack AND symbol is dollar, and also in the input string the AND symbol is dollar. But in the input string, basically it starts from left to right as we scan the input string from left to right. So from left there are input symbol, and the end of the input string is denoted by the dollar symbol. But in the stat, as we know, there are two operations of a stat. One is push and the other is pop. So basically the last symbol of the stat is denoted by dollar, and you need to push uh, the symbols in the stack in the leaf order, means last in first out order. So these all components are required in order to generate the parse tree, which is the output of the parser. So the parser refers to the parsing table to take any decision on the input and stack element combination. So both are required. The stack element is stack element and input symbol both are required in order to get the final parse tree from the parser. So this is the basically the diagram by which you can get the parse tree. So all of you understand it? Just write in the chat box. Okay. So moving to the next slide. Now LL parser. So and basically, as you can see from remember from the diagram, that after the predictive parser there are a special type of grammars known as the LL grammar, which is also known as the LL parser. So LL parser accepts LL grammar. So LL grammar is a subset of context free grammar. So the context free grammar we already studied in the theory of computation subject. So LL grammar is just a subset of context free grammar, but with some restriction to get the simplified version in order to achieve easy implementation. So there are some restrictions in the LL grammar. Those restrictions we will read in the next slide. So LL grammar can be implemented by means of both algorithms named as the recursive descent or table driven. So both names can be given to these type of algorithms. So LL parser is denoted as LLK. You can here bracket is there. So the first L in LLK is parsing the input from left to right. As you can see from this diagram, the LLK is there. So the first L, the first L denotes the left to right scanning. the second L. This is the second L. So this L denotes the leftmost derivation, and this K denotes the K look ahead symbols. So how many? It basically suggests how many look ahead symbol we need to follow in this particular language. So here generally K is equal to 1. So LLK means also to be written as LL1. If the value of K is 1, then this grammar is also written as LL1. And basically LL1 grammar is in your syllabus. So this is the LL grammar, which comes under the predictive parser. So just remember this figure. The first L denotes the left to right scanning the input. The second L denotes the leftmost derivation, and K denotes the K look ahead symbol. But in your syllabus, only LL1 grammar is there, not LL2, LL3. Those grammar are basically out of scope of your syllabus. So these are not covered in your syllabus. Only LL1 grammars are there. So moving to the next slide. So just here also the previous diagram is explained that the first L stands for left to right, and the second L stands for leftmost derivation. Here you can see LL1 is there. So here 1 stands for the number of look ahead tokens used by parser while parsing a sentence or while parsing a string. So LL1 parsing is constructed from the grammar which is free from left recursion, left factoring, that is common prefixes and ambiguity. So basically, in order to generate the parse tree from LL1 grammar, the grammar must be first having no left recursion, means elimination of left recursion is essential. There will be no left factoring, and ambiguity will not be there. After that, you can convert that grammar into LL grammar. So these are the requirement. So LL parser depends on one look ahead symbol to predict the production to expand the parse tree. Basically, this is the number of look ahead symbol. So here only one look ahead symbol is there because LL1 grammar is there. So all of you understand it? Just write in the chat box so that we can move further. Okay. So moving to the next slide. So basically, this is the LL1 grammar. Which grammars are called LL1 grammars and which are not LL1 grammars? So these are the three points which and if a grammar satisfy all these 3 points, then the grammar is said to be LL1 grammar. If any of the point is not satisfied by the grammar, then the grammar is not LL1 grammar. So basically, a grammar G is LL1 grammar if there are two productions of the type A produces alpha and A produces beta, are two distinct productions of the grammar. For then these three conditions has to be satisfied. So the first condition is there: for no terminal, both alpha and beta derive strings beginning with A, because there is a condition that the grammar should not have left recursion. So from this condition, the grammar does not have left recursion. So here you can see that for no terminal, both alpha and beta derive a string beginning with A. Basically, here small a is there. You should not confuse it with capital A. Here small a is there because uh, there will be means alpha and beta does not start with A. So this condition cannot be there. The second condition is at most one of alpha and beta can derive empty string. So it means that at the maximum only one of the alpha and beta can be epsilon, but cannot be both. But alpha and beta cannot be epsilon at the same time. So this is the second condition. The third condition is that if beta produces T, then alpha does not derive any string beginning with a terminal in follow A. So this is the, you can hear this word first time, follow. So we in the next slide we will discuss the first and follow. So how we can construct or a table, or how we can calculate the first and follow of the non-terminal. So let's discuss the first and follow sets and their functions. So these two, you remember at this time these two conditions. The third condition you can remember after we study the follow. So moving to the next slide. So there are basically two very important sets. First, its names are first and follow sets. So, these are an important part of parser table construction is to create first and follow sets. So, a parser table can be constructed when we study, or when we thoroughly study the first and follow sets, because in the parsing table, first and follow sets are required. So, these sets can provide the actual position of any terminal in the derivation. So, this is done to create the parsing table, because we need to create the parsing table for LL1 grammars. So before creating the parsing table of LL1 grammar, we need to first study the first and follow sets. So this is done to create the parsing table, where the decision of replacing, if we need to replace this type of production, then this rule is required. So if you can see that A is the variable or the non-terminal, and T is the terminal, and it will replace to alpha. So let us discuss this in detail. So in the next slide we will going to study how we calculate the first and follow sets of non-terminals, because first and follow can be find out for only for non-terminals and not for the terminals. So first set. So this set is created to know what terminal symbol is derived in the first position by a non-terminal. So as its name suggests, its name is first. So basically we need to write the first terminal symbol which is produced by the non-terminal. So this is the first function. So basically, the first of alpha means the first of the non-terminal. Alpha means here we denote it is a generalized form. So here alpha means the non-terminal. So first of alpha is the set of terminal symbols that begin in strings derived from alpha. So as you can see from the example, first you can see that in the example alpha produces T beta. So this is the production. So here alpha means the non-terminal, and T means the terminal, and beta can be terminal, can be non-terminal. So that is alpha derives T terminal in the very first position. So T belongs to first of alpha. So basically, in the calculation of first, we need to write the terminals. So it can be much more explained in the second example. As you can see in the second example, if A produces these three productions, A, B, C, then M, N, O, and X, Y, Z. These are the three productions. Then first of A, we need to calculate the first of A. So first of A is the first terminal symbol. So in the first production, you can see A produces A, B, C. So here first symbol is small a. In the second production, you can see that A produces M, N, O. So here the first symbol is small n. In the third production, A produces X, Y, Z. So here the first symbol is X. So the first of A will contain the set. You can see that here it is set of all the first symbols. So you can write all the symbols in the curly braces. What is this is the sets you already studied in your discrete structures. So set can be represented by the curly braces set, this enclosed. So here you can see that A, M and H are the three elements for the first A, because these are the first symbols of every production. So this is very simple example, because here you can see in all the three productions the first symbol is terminal, so it become very easy for calculation. But in the next slide we will going to discuss uh, some more difficult examples or some more difficult questions in which you need to calculate or find the first set. So all of you understand it? Okay. So moving to the next slide. So rules for calculating first function. So these are the three very important rules for calculation of first function. So from rule number one, if for a production rule, if X produces epsilon, if this type of production is there, then first of X will include epsilon in its set. So this is the first rule. If epsilon is produced from any production, then epsilon will be included in that set of that non-terminal. The second rule is that for any terminal symbol A, suppose A is the terminal symbol, then first of A, uh, here here you can consider the capital A, not the small a. Then the first of A, because non-terminals are denoted by the capital letters. So the first of A will include the small a. Then the rule number three, for a production rule, X produces y1, y2, y3, and these are all non-terminals, not the terminals. Because if we get the terminal at the first, then that terminal is included in the first of that non-terminal. But there is situation, or uh, if we get the non-terminal on the right hand side, then the calculation is much more different. So in the rule number three, these y1, y2, y3 are all non-terminals. You can consider is a non-terminal. So if there are some other conditions related to this rule. So if epsilon does not belongs to first y1, so if there is no epsilon is there, then first of x is equal to first of y1. So the first of y1 will include in the first of x if there is no epsilon in the y1. But if epsilon is there in the first y1, suppose y1 contains epsilon, so here you can have H produces epsilon, and after that there is y2 and y3 other function. If epsilon belongs to first y1, then first of x will contain first of y1 minus epsilon union of first of y2 y3. So the first of x will contain this type of function. So in the same way, if epsilon does not belong to first of y2, then first of y2 y3 will get the first of y2. And in the same way, if epsilon belongs to first of y2, then first of y2 y2 will get this function, first y2 minus epsilon union first of y3. And this similar condition will be expanded for any production rule like this: X produces y1, y2, y3 up to yn. So I know this is very somewhat difficult to understand you, but basically once we solve the questions related to the to find in the first, then it will become in practice to you, and it will become very easy to you. So you just need to remember these three rules first. If the rule 1 is for epsilon, the rule 2 is for terminal, which are very easy, but the third rule is somewhat complex, because in the third rule the right hand side will contain the non-terminal. So just you need to remember this: the right hand side contains the non-terminal, and once we solve the question, then you will be very comfortable in finding the first. So let's move to the next slide. Now the next topic is follow set. So we calculate what terminal symbols immediately follow a non-terminal epsilon in the production rules. So as the name suggests, follow. So here we need to find out the follow symbol after the non-terminal. So basically we need to find the terminal. As you can see, we need to find what terminal symbol immediately follow a non-terminal epsilon. So this is the definition of follow set. So we do not consider what the non-terminal can generate, but instead we see what would be the next terminal symbol that follows the production of a non-terminal. So basically here we need to consider this statement: what terminal symbol immediately follow a non-terminal. So basically the follow function is like this. So follow of alpha means, this is the generalized form, means follow of non-terminal is a set of terminal symbols that appear immediately to the right of alpha. So this is the follow function. So let's discuss the rules of calculating the follow in the next slide. So these are the rules, just like the rules for calculating the first function. We have certain rules for calculating the follow function. So rule number 1: for the start symbol, place dollar in the follow of the start symbol. So this rule is very important, and you always remember it. You need to write the dollar symbol intentionally in the follow of the start symbol only. Then the rule number 2: for any production rule A produces alpha B, then you can see here on the right hand side B is there. So after B there is no symbol. So means follow of B means follow of B is equal to the follow of A. So actually some other students are there in the lobby, so I need to allow them. Just wait. So according to the second rule, if A produces alpha B, here you can see after B there is no symbol. So that means it can use the circular concept. So after B, there, if we reverse it, then after B there is, then it will move to A. So means follow of B will contain the follow of A. So just you need to remember, if there is no symbol after the non-terminal symbol, that uh, then that non-terminal will get the follow of the symbol which produces it. And the rule number 3: for any production rule A produces alpha B beta. Here you can see there is a non-terminal here B, and after that there is some another symbols beta. But in rule number 2, after B there is no symbol, so it will take all the symbols of A which produces it. But here after B there is symbol which are beta, which are any combinations of terminals and non-terminal. So these are some other factors related to this rule. If epsilon does not belongs to first beta, then follow of B is equal to first beta. As epsilon is not there, means something is there which is not epsilon. So follow of B means follow of B, there is something in the beta, because epsilon is not there. If epsilon is there, that means if epsilon is there, it means empty string. Then it basically means the same thing. Means this after B there is nothing. So basically follow of B will be follow of A. But if epsilon is not in the first beta, means something is there. So means follow of B will be calculated as first of beta. And in the same way, if epsilon, the other rule is there, if epsilon belongs to first of beta, then this rule is follow. Then follow of B is equal to first of beta minus epsilon union follow of A. So these are the three rules. You just need to remember at this time, because once we are going to solve the questions, uh, it will become very comfortable to you. So the first rule is the you need to place the dollar symbol in the first symbol. Sorry, in the follow of the first symbol. And the second rule is this: if there is no symbol after the non-terminal, then it will take the follow of the symbol which produces it. And the third rule is there. It consists of two parts. If epsilon is there, then it will be treated as the rule number 2. This is treated as the rule number 2. And if epsilon is there, sorry, if epsilon is there, then it will be treated as 2. And epsilon is not there, then it will be treated as rule number 3. So all of you understand it? Can we move to the questions related to first and follow calculation? Okay. So just moving to the questions related to calculation of first and follow. Just remember these rules. But before going to calculating the first and follow, these important points must be noted. So these type of objective questions comes in your competitive exams. So just remember these important points. So the first point is epsilon may appear in the first function of a non-terminal. It means epsilon may appear. Epsilon can be a part of the first set. Epsilon will never appear in the follow function of a non-terminal, but epsilon can never be the part of the follow function or the follow set. You need to remember it. Epsilon is there in it can be the part of first function, but epsilon can never be the part of the follow symbol. So the third point is there: before calculating the first and follow functions, eliminate left recursion from the grammar. This is the very important concept. Before checking that means before calculating the first and follow, you need to just check whether the grammar contains the left recursion or not. If the grammar contains the left recursion, you need to first eliminate the left recursion from the grammar, and after that you can find the first and follow symbols. The fourth point is that we calculate the follow function of a non-terminal by looking where it is present on the right hand side of the production rule. When we need to calculate the symbols or the follow elements, we need to just concentrate on the right hand side of the production and not on the left hand side of the production, which is very convenient if you concentrate on the right hand side for calculating the follow symbols. So just remember these points. So after that we are moving to the questions related to the first and follow those symbols. So this is the question number 1. So the question is this: calculate the first and follow functions for the given grammar. So this grammar is given to you, and here you can see this is the grammar. So from S, there are two productions. One is this, and second is this, and there are only one productions from A and B. So you need to calculate the first and follow functions. So basically, the first and follow can be calculated to every non-terminal on the left hand side. So here you can see there are three non-terminals on the left hand side. One is S, then the second is A, and the third is B. So just wait for a minute. An important phone call is there. So just concentrate on the question. Hello. So you can see from in this question, there are three non-terminals are there, S, A, and B. So from the first functions, so basically the first we need to calculate each of the first. So here you can see uh, once we calculate the first S, means the first of starting symbol, which is S. So here you can see the as you can see S produces A, A, A and B. So here you can see that the first symbol is non-terminal. So we need to just actually we need to just make a parse tree here. So S produces means this type. You can simplify it by using this A, then A, and this B. So this type is there. So basically the first symbol is A. So you need to replace this symbol. You can check whether any production is there which is starting from A. So here you can see a production is there. Second production is there. A produces, epsilon is there which is starting from A. So just you need to replace this A with the epsilon like this. So now your string is S produces epsilon A, A and B. Means, but epsilon, you know that if epsilon is in concatenation with anyone, then epsilon is having no meaning. So now you get the first terminal which is A. So means this you can check this type of rule is apply. Means first A minus epsilon union of first A union of this is applied. So from this you can get the a terminal is there. So first S is get the a terminal from this production. From S produces a b. So similar thing you can apply to the second production. S produces b a. So you can draw the diagram as S produces b b, then B, and then A. And after that, you need to check whether any production which starts from B. So here you can see B produces epsilon. So you need to replace that B with epsilon. So after that, you have S produces epsilon, B A is. As epsilon in concatenation having no meaning. So the first symbol here you can get is S produces B. So from this you get the B. So that's why the first of S generate two elements. One is A and the other is B. So from by using this method you can get the first of S. Now calculating the first of A. So as you can see only one production is there. A produces epsilon. So as just remember the important point the important notes. The point number one, epsilon may be included in the first of A. So here only the production is there. A produces epsilon. So here the first of A will include only epsilon. And in the same way, there is only one production of, starting from beta, which is B produces epsilon. So basically, the epsilon is there in the first of beta. So all of you understand the calculation of first? Just write in the chat box the calculation of first in all for all the three non-terminals like S, A, and B. If anybody have any problem, then just write in the chat box. If anybody does not understand it, Harita Sharma, just write the correct spelling. Okay, so all of you understand it. If anyone having any problem, just write in the chat box, because next problems are somewhat more difficult than this. This is the I think the easiest problem. So if you understand it, then no problem. But if anyone having any problem, just write it. Okay. So now we need to calculate the follow symbol or the follow function. So here you can see. Just remember the important notes point. I am moving to the previous slide. Here you can see in the important notes point, there are two things for follow. So here you can see epsilon will never appear in the follow function of a non-terminal. Just remember this. In the follow, we cannot have epsilon at any cost. The second thing is this: we calculate the follow function of a non-terminal by looking where it is present on the right hand side of the production. So now we need to concentrate on the right hand side of the production for calculating the follow. And just remember, epsilon will never occur in the follow. So just now we move to the question. Just remember those 2 points. So the grammar is given to you, and you need to calculate the follow. So there is the first point, or the first rule is there for calculation of follows, and the first rule says that put dollar in the starting symbol of the grammar. So here you can see in the grammar the starting symbol is S, because this is the first production. So the starting symbol is S. So put dollar. This is the dollar. Put dollar in the follow of the starting symbol. So follow of S contains the dollar. So this is very important. You need to always remember that put dollar in the starting symbol of put dollar in the follow of the starting symbol. So from rule number 1 of the follow function, you can write this. Then you need to calculate whether S is. You need to analyze that whether S is there in the right hand side of any of the production. Here you can see in all the four production, S is not exist in the right hand side of the production. So that's it for the follow of S. Now you need to calculate the follow of S. So now you need to concentrate on the right hand side of all the productions. So here you can see on the right hand side, you get 2 times A. One is this, and the second time is before this. So here you can get on the right hand side of A, you get 2 times A. So after that, you from the first A, you can get 2 times of A. First is A and AB. So you from this first A, what follows this A? This follows Small a follows the first a. So you can write this a here. And what follows the second a? Small b follows the second a. So you write b here. So basically the follow of a contains two elements. One is a and the other is b. Right? So that's how you calculate follow. Now just concentrate on the follow of B, and you can concentrate how many times B is there on the right hand side. So here you can see B, small b, and then the small a. So you can see from the what follows the first of B. So here small b follows the first of B, and what follows the second of B. So small a follows the second B. So that's why the follow of B contains the two elements a and b. So that's how you can calculate the follow symbols by using this method, or the rules we discussed in our previous slides for calculating the follows. All of you understand it? Just write in the chat box. Just concentrate on the right hand side of all the productions. Okay. So moving to the question 2. So this is the question 2. So the question is same. Calculate the first and follow functions for the given grammar. So these are the productions given to you, and here you can see there are 4 non-terminals are there. So you need to calculate uh, all the first and follow for every non-terminal, for all the 4 non-terminals. But you need to first check whether the grammar contains the left recursion or not. If the grammar contains the left recursion, then you need to first eliminate the left recursion first before calculating the first and follow symbols. So here you can see from the first production there is no left recursion. This is okay. But in the second from the second non-terminal, you can see there is a left recursion as a produces ad. So here is left recursion. So you need to first eliminate this left recursion, and after that you can find the first and follow. So the given grammar is left recursive. So we first remove the left recursion from the given grammar. So just write this grammar on your copy first, because in the next slide we just need to eliminate this left recursion. So you can also try in your copy the how you can eliminate the left recursion from this grammar. So I am moving to the next slide. So after left eliminating left recursion, we get the following grammar. So this grammar we get as you understand the as you remember the rule that a produces a alpha oblique beta. This is the rule, and this can be converted to a produces beta